I'm
Real
ready. You
journalism.
ready?
Yes, let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Revive podcast. Today, we're here with Mr. Joe Musten. How are you today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great. Just waking up, I hear.
Yeah, you are. Oh no, it
Yes,
must
sir.
be me waking up because I just said you are. Yeah.
It's all good. So, could you tell everybody where you're from and what you do?
I am from the great state of North Carolina, just a slightly northern brother of South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
And I, what do I do? Um, I can answer that question multiple ways. What I think is relevant is that I scream for a band called Advent, um,
Yes.
very part time, and I have played in other bands and stuff in the past. Band called Beloved. Um, I played drums for a band called The Almost. Screamed in a band called Torn. Screamed in a band called Your Son Is Dead. I think that's about it as far as any known.
Ends of Sanity?
Ends of Sanity. He played drums for a couple sets and helped write like maybe a quarter of a riff that they ended up with on the record. But those are my
Okay.
buddies,
That
and they've
counts,
let
though.
me stay in the band text thread, so I get to read all the happenings.
Well, I'm glad you're here. It took us a little bit to get it going, but we're here. Took us some scheduling back and forth, but we're
Yeah.
here, and you are officially now the final band member of April 31st, 2021, Senate Cola Columbia.
Oh wow,
Got
yeah,
everybody. You're the final one.
that is awesome.
How's it
That was
feel?
uh, that man. It feels good, but I loved that show and that day. That was a good day.
I know. It was great.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm going to get into this and I'm going to ask you some great questions. You ready to do it?
Hmm.
All right, so I'm going to ask you first where you met your band members and what made you want to start a band with them. We can go Advent and Beloved.
Okay, so if I were to go in chronological order, I met the guys in Beloved. Uh, I met I met Dusty Redmond, who was one of the guitar players in Beloved when we were in sixth grade in keyboard class,
Oh, geez.
where you learned how to type, which I only type with two fingers, two pointer fingers. I'm the worst. Um, Met him in keyboard class. Met Matt Harrison, who was the other guitar player. Probably that around that same time. Our bass player in middle school in band class, he was playing the French horn. I was, playing the snare drum.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
just kind of like high school, middle school, met all these guys, except for Johnny, who was in Advent, met and Beloved, met him later, just going to shows
Yeah.
in North Carolina and stuff. He was like one of the like kind of vegetarian, vegan, straight edge guys around. So he was a notable character. And
I
so
believe it.
yeah, and then kind of like the other guys is actually, you know what, the drummer of Advent, I met him before I met any of them. I
Oh,
have a
really?
picture of me at his house with a like a box of diapers that my parents and I were dropping off at his parents' house when he was born.
You're going to have to send me
So,
that.
I've known him
Yeah.
forever. And then Mike in Advent, we met him when he played at the skate park in Kernersville in like 2006, and we're watching his band. And I looked over at Matt in Beloved slash Advent, and I said, this guy's going to be in our band. Watch. And then 3 weeks later,
He
he
was.
moved to Carolina, and he was in our band. So
Awesome. Where was like your main spot that you guys went to shows in North Carolina? Like your main
um,
spot where you met Johnny and all
you know,
that?
I met Johnny when this venue called 533 Uprisings was the thing. And you know your I'm gonna say your dad, Stretch definitely played so many shows there. I saw them there This is like 90s,
Oh,
90s.
really?
Oh yeah, and like early 2000s, 533 was downtown Winston, you know, run down part of Winston. There was nothing happening on the street, Trade Street. And it was like one of the only things at nighttime
Oh, really?
that would be happening on the street. There was just a few street lights that worked, so it felt very like,
Sketchy.
you know, yeah, very sketchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was cool. So that was probably that venue. PS211, the warehouse in Winston, Ace's Basement in Greensboro, North Carolina, the skate park in Kernersville.
Ooh,
Um, that was kind of like that. Those were the spots locally to
yeah.
me that were, the big venues.
Yeah, awesome. Well, what do like all your family members think of the band? Like they like it, don't like it, kind of thing?
Yeah, I think most of my family, kind of digs what I do. Nuclear, like my wife, she supports it all. My kids, they're kind of like, my dad's in a band, but I don't know if they know what it means until they
Right.
kind of come to a show and see it. And then they're like,
Right.
I see them bobbing their heads. That's all I need, and that's enough
You
to
got
keep
two
me going.
daughters, right?
I've got a son and a daughter.
A son and a
Yeah,
daughter. Okay, how's
so
that?
they're
How's the
twins,
dad
but
life?
yeah, it's dad life is amazing.
Awesome.
My siblings, my sister, she's into it. Her and her husband come to our shows sometimes. My brother's not really, that much of a. He doesn't go out very much to concerts and shows and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I got good family support for the most part. Yeah,
I mean, we've been going to a lot of shows. Me and all the homies, shout out. We've been going a lot. It's,
that's.
we just saw, so I'm actually an intern at the Senate now, doing
Oh, for
some,
real? That's awesome.
working on some stage stuff, learning how to do it. We Came as Romans came there the other night. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
who that is.
yeah, I know who
Amir
that is.
was there.
Okay.
Amir is a great band, and
Yeah,
there were a couple others. Um, I forget the names, but everyone was great. Pitting
yeah.
was crazy. I got to pit for a little bit.
I'm sure. I'm
I
sure it
told them
was great.
I was like, as long as I take my Senate shirt off, can I go in there? And they were like, yeah, go for it. So we had a great time. Had to go right back up on stage. Great
That's awesome.
show. Everyone loved
Yeah.
it. But I gotta ask you, out of all your hardcore bands you listen to, who's your favorite?
All the hardcore bands that I listen to,
Who
who,
is your favorite? The one that
dude,
sticks out to you.
I think the band that I probably like listen to the most is Terror
Shout
and
out.
or or like Madball or something like that. Like if
Two
that comes
great
on,
bands.
if that comes on, I'm in. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna turn to the next song.
Yeah.
It's
I know what you mean.
I'm in it,
What's like your dream lineup? Like we'll say three opening bands and a headline band. Who's it gonna be?
and I get to attend to
You
see
get
it
to go
happen.
there. Any venue you want, maybe a
Okay.
super small venue, super big venue. Any four bands you want. Pick a opening, middle band, final opener, and headline.
All right, this show is happening at PS211 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Of course.
Um, uh, I'm going to start off the night with Turmoil from Philadelphia. If you haven't heard Turmoil, you need to look that band up.
Okay.
Uh, they're incredible.
Good start.
All right, so Turmoil. Second band's going to be um, Buried Alive. Buried Alive.
Okay.
That's yeah, playing Death of Your Perfect World from front to back. Like a a 30-year album release anniversary show. that's probably that's probably almost about how long it's been since they
Okay.
put that out close to it.
Okay.
We're getting close. Uh, and then three openers, or yeah, and then a headliner. Um, man, I would like to see Strife in their heyday when they were still straight edge.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, I would love to see that. Uh, and then a band called Strong Arm.
Good
Strong,
band. I remember
yeah,
you talking about that one time.
yeah.
That's your headline?
That's my headline, and they're not going to be the biggest. Everybody's probably going to walk out, but it's going to be like me and 15 of my friends.
Yeah.
Uh,
You pit a lot or what?
yeah, I'm going to that night. I
Oh,
used to back in the day. I'm going to that night. I'm gonna go wild.
yeah. What's stopping you?
Nothing.
Nothing, man. So you are currently playing in three different bands, is that correct?
Let's see.
Beloved and Ends of Sanity?
So Ends of Sanity, I am not playing.
No longer. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It just scheduling wise, those dudes want to get busy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys, I'm like a lame local dad. Just let me, just let me local dad my life, and you guys
Yeah.
go out and kill it. So they got a guy named Tim Austin that's playing, and he's
Okay.
an absolute freak on the drums. So
Oh, really?
uh, yeah. So and Beloved, I guess technically, yeah, I'm in Beloved, but we haven't played a show since 2021 or 2022. We played with Glassjaw. They had us come open
Oh,
uh,
word.
in Atlanta. So, um, but Advent, yes,
Yeah.
Advent, yes. We're currently playing. We just played probably about a month ago. We played some songs.
Oh, yeah. Hangar 1819.
Hangar 1819, and
Great
then
show.
the next, not the next night, but 2 nights later, we played in Johnson City, Tennessee. Dude, that's like one of those places you're like, where? And then you go as a hardcore band, and those kids get rowdy, dude. That
Oh,
city,
word.
their hardcore scene is a local. It's
Hmm.
a local. It feels like local kids who own
Yeah.
their city. Like they run it. It's so
Believe
cool.
it. Yeah, man. I mean, I was gonna ask you how you have the time to play in all these bands. Like, what is your motivation? You said you've got two kids. I know
Yeah.
I know you own your own business, right?
That landscaping company
Yeah.
is the one that I jumped in with a friend last year, and he offered to let me, get it under my belt and eventually become a partner.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This is what you don't know because I haven't made this public. Is that
Right here, right
I
now.
I'm right now. You heard it here first. I'm actually back working at the church that I left to go into this business. So I'm back
Huh.
at the church working full time there. The business dude, Luke Cope, who's the owner, he absolutely crushes it. He made a way for me to jump on and kind of learn the ropes of the landscaping business, but it is hard.
Yeah.
It is a hard business to be in and to
I bet.
survive, support a family in. If it rains you out all week, you don't get a paycheck.
Yeah.
So I learned that real quick. He was like, "This is not a business for the faint of heart. If you love it, you'll stay with it, and I'll be right there to support you. If you don't love it and you need to move on, move
I
on." So
I can
I was like,
I, I'm minimal with my landscaping. I can cut the grass and blow off the driveway. That's about it.
"Oh,
But I like doing it.
I've seen some shots. I've seen some shots of the front yard, bro.
How you
I
like
really
that front yard, bro?
the front yard looks nice. That emerald green, is that emerald green
Oh
zoysia or what
yeah.
is that?
I don't know what kind of grass it is. I know it's
I,
sod.
I think y'all have zoysia
My
or
dad sent you pictures?
zoysia grass. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but
Yeah,
that's bro. That is some straight
it is. I
beautiful
love
turf.
cutting it. I can't even lie. I love cutting it. Feels good. Um, I mean, I've always wanted to work the edger, but like
Mm,
my dad won't let me. He's kind
yeah.
of just like, no, I got it. I've got this part. I'm like, come on, let me roll it a
It's,
little bit.
oh yeah. Do you use
We've
like,
got a roller one. Yeah.
oh, those are, dude, that's what I used growing up.
Oh, really?
I love those things because it's like the most precision line you can cut.
Yeah.
Um, that is the manual way. I love that. You got to put a little bit of muscle into it, uh, but nothing beats it. Nothing
Yeah.
beats
I
it, dude.
mean, you heard it here first. Chris McLean, teach me how to do it, man. He won't teach me.
Chris,
He won't show me.
teach this man how
I
to
want to
edge. You know
do
what
it.
I'm
I
saying?
want to do it. So I want to ask you, is there like a band that you spend the most time on projects with?
Probably Advent.
Probably
That,
Advent. Was there
yeah.
ever a time where Beloved was more than Advent?
Oh yeah. I mean, when we were really active in our young early 2000s years, dude, we were practicing multiple times a week, writing multiple times a week,
Yeah.
and we try and find time to like demo or, but we were always out on the road, dude.
Oh
We
yeah.
were on the road 9 months a year, which is
Gotta be.
crazy to try and fathom being gone that long now in
Mhm.
my life the way it is. I can't even imagine that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we were. It was constant, dude. It was a life commitment to do that band.
And I know from what I've heard, if you want to make more money, you got to be on the road longer. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Oh,
there's those times you're not home, but to feed your family, you got to be gone longer. Was that something you guys experienced?
oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time that I like became an adult, and I guess I was technically an adult in Beloved, but my mind wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
uh, but that right there is the truth. If you want to be able to support, yourself financially, you have to support. Um, you have to build it on the road. That's the
Right.
only way to pay for it on the road. You pay for it with your life, and the road pays you. So you sacrifice being at home to be on the road, but then the road pays for you to be at home for a little bit. So it's
I
kind of it
understand.
pays both ways.
Yeah.
Um, but it costs you.
Yeah.
Um, but by the time like I was like an adult with like a mortgage and felt like I had adult responsibilities, taking care of living beings, I was playing drums in the almost, and that was like a paycheck. Like we got, direct deposit paychecks.
Oh,
It was
really?
a whole different kind of animal.
Oh, yeah.
So, but in order for us to make money, we had to be either doing flyouts or playing fests or out on the road, for
Were you guys a
extended.
full-time band?
We were, yeah, we said yes to as many good opportunities as possible.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was like, you know, at, 6, 7 months a year, a couple years that was a little bit less than that.
Right.
But I'd say we were mostly full time. We were out a lot. So, um, yeah,
Yeah. And so Advent was formed in 2005, right?
yes,
So formed in 2005, ended in 2011, and you guys took a break up until 2015, and
yes.
then you guys officially announced it back in 2016. Is
Your
there any reason to bring that band back and not another one?
your timeline is absolutely impeccable. By the way, thank you. You're
Come on.
probably the first person who's ever gotten that right on the money.
Come
Uh,
on.
Thanks for doing your research.
Of course. How could I not?
Uh, so I, dude, like over the years, Beloved got asked to do all kinds of stuff for stupid amounts of money. And
Oh,
I think we realized that um, no amount of money actually mattered enough to make that band resurrect.
really?
Meant, it was something that meant something to us that would need to be that would need to call us into existence once more.
Yeah.
So Furnace Fest, Chad calls us up and says, guys, we want to do Furnace Fest, but we don't want to do Furnace Fest unless you guys are on it. And
Yeah.
so it's, whoa, for real?
That's back
And
when
I
you had a
think that,
bald head too, huh?
yeah, yeah. I was like, think, I think that was enough to, that meant something to us. That was like a personal, a friend, a man who had been there and helped us build this thing from the beginning. Um, to see that he was bringing something to life and that he thought that we were a part of that and we needed to be a part of that. That was enough for us to have a serious conversation. So in a way, I'd been wrestling with that kind of question that you posed, like why Advent and not another band needed to come back, or but specifically Advent, man, like we laid that band down um just because we were all going at different speeds and starting to get involved in different things. I was playing in the Almost. Johnny was about to open up a clothing store and clothing
Oh,
brand
cool.
with his friend in 2011. And Mike and Jordan were, they're a good bit younger than us. And they just kind of had different plans for life. And we didn't want to hold them up. And Johnny didn't want to hold us up, but I was like, dude, if you're gonna go do this thing, Advent's done, because we're not gonna do Advent if it's not us four.
Right.
Because I think us four, we finally hit the iteration of Advent that
The
was like
commitment.
really, really like the identity of the band. And so when we put it down, I thought it was done. And there was just so much, like, dude, so many kids at shows that were like, man, kids from Japan, kids from Europe that I would meet, kids from South America, kids from, other states, kids from North Carolina that are like, man, never got to see Advent, but that band means so much to me. Check this tattoo that I got, of an Advent song. And it's like, you're like, dude, this band means something to people.
Yeah.
And we just hung it up. Um, where's the rule book that says we can't come back and do something? And I think
Of
we just had
course.
enough of those conversations that was like, we're just a hardcore band. Like we're not U2, so it's not like we need Rolling Stone to, kind of announce that we're back. We can do that ourselves. We can put an Instagram page together. We can write songs. So just like you said, we were just like, let's just try and get together. 2015, we started writing songs, and we wrote two. I think we wrote Shadow of Death, and we wrote Shadow of Death and Wind from the Valley. Those are
Mhm.
the first two songs that we wrote together. And we were like, dude, these songs are fun as crap to play. So that was enough to just for us to get back together again in a couple months, write the next two, and then before we knew it, we were like, we're gonna record an EP. We're back, baby. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was,
And I
yeah,
mean, yeah, you mentioned, people getting these tattoos of an Advent song, maybe lyrics or everything.
yeah,
I've noticed you spread a really positive message with whether it's, inspiration or with
yeah,
Jesus or
yeah,
with, just you wanting to inspire these people around you. Is there any reason you do it like you do it? Because not a lot of people have really done that so much like you do.
yeah. Um, dude, hardcore changed my life. Uh, but specifically um, bands that weren't afraid to speak up and stand for something. Um, I know there's tons of people and tons of bands that kind of uh, they don't want to preach from stage. They don't want to have a stance on anything. They just want to mosh and play good music, and I totally respect it. but the bands that stuck out to me, whether it was an ideology or a belief or a moral code that I agreed with or not, if a band had something that they stood on that was attractive to me. And so being from North Carolina, vegan straight edge bands were like the thing in the 90s. So Prayer for Cleansing, from here on, all these, and they may not be vegan or straight edge, but that kind of thing, like we believe in something, we're gonna say something with our music.
Right.
That that is what inspired me to think about hardcore differently and to listen to hardcore differently than any other style, because there's plenty of different genres, there's plenty of music being made out in the world, but hardcore is is against the grain, it's countercultural. For me, it's something that stands up in the flow of mediocrity, to say that we put down the flag and we
Yeah.
say we stand for something. Like, this actually means something. It's not just another pop song, it's not just another country song about whatever every other country artist is singing about. It's not just rock music, it's not just a genre, it's countercultural, and it pushes against the norm, and it rejects the world, and it rejects, you know, um it it rejects just the sense that like music is just music. It
Oh
is a
yeah.
lifestyle. It is like something to believe in. It's something to hold on to. It's something to build your life around.
Your
I
genre is
love,
your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I honestly believe that it is a hardcore band's duty to say something,
Of course.
because punk, hardcore, it's about what we say. It's about
Right.
how we live out what we're saying with our music. So for me, my faith is number one in my life, always will be. So how could I not take the music form that I love, which is hardcore, and say who I am? So that's why I say what I say, and that's why we do it the way we do it,
Yeah.
because there's no better um, medium than hardcore, in my opinion, to say what you believe.
Right.
So
A lot of respect with the genre too.
thank you. Yeah.
Everyone respects each other as well, is what it seems
Yeah.
like. I mean, fell over. I was going crazy last night. Fell over about 3 times. I couldn't even attempt to stand myself up before
Yeah.
I had someone under my arms and someone on my
Yeah.
legs trying to lift me back up,
Yeah.
and then like grabbing me, making sure I was okay. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
you don't see that a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you never. I've seen videos of hits in other genres. You don't ever see that. And it really took me to surprise. I was like, I'm standing and I didn't even do anything. Someone helped me up, even
Yeah.
though I almost just kicked him in the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I I mean I literally could have just taken out your head,
Yeah.
but you helped me back up. And I think that's just that stands out a lot.
Yeah. That's one of the things that makes hardcore special. Plus,
Oh
I
yeah.
love hardcore shows, man. There's
Oh yeah.
nothing better than a hardcore show.
Even if I don't like the band, I'll still go.
Yeah.
Like I'll still go just to swing my arms and kick my
Oh yeah.
legs.
Oh yeah.
Like it's really entertaining. It's
Hmm.
very fun. It's like watching like your favorite movie. Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot there's a lot of variety I think that goes into it as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people doing what they want, not worrying about having to follow this and that. You know what I mean?
That's what that is the era of hardcore that I love, man.
Yeah.
Just um a freedom to sound how you want to sound,
Oh yeah.
say what you need to say, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would love to go into this next segment with you. I've got a little song breakdown for you.
Okay.
Got 2 songs. Love for you to break down by Advent. It's Nothing and
Yeah.
Weight of the World.
Okay.
I wrote down some lyrics and I'd love for you to explain them.
Yeah, let's go.
So, which one do you want to start with first? Nothing or Way to the World?
Nothing. Let's go
All right.
chronologically.
Awesome. So, this song you start off with, and in these lyrics you say, "Can you hear us through these clouds when the rain is beating down? Our hopes and dreams never left the ground. Nothing's been done for your daughters or your sons. Everything just stays the same, so they tell me nothing's your name." Is this like, a current struggle with your life that you wanted to sing about, or is this just maybe about someone else, or just kind of what you were thinking?
At the time when that song was written, there was frustration, in my heart, that, you know, I could look around and see, a world seemingly falling apart, which is funny because we're looking around today and it
Yeah.
seems like the same thing, just on repeat. Um, and it seems like sometimes, no matter what I believe or what I say or how much I pray, and I don't know if this is necessarily where my heart is today, but probably back in 2008 when that song was written, 2009, somewhere around that time. Um, just being frustrated that, like, God, where are you? Like, there's so much suffering.
Right.
Um, I need you. I need you to show up my life. I need you to show. Can you show up and help somebody? There's
Yeah.
all these people crying out to you. It seems like people are not even able to get their hopes up off of the ground,
Mhm.
even long enough um, to receive any help. Um, everybody says you're non-existent. Everybody says that nothing is your name. Where are you?
Oh
And then,
yeah.
but I finished the song. Um, I finished the song saying basically like I end the night every night deciding that I'm still going to believe no matter what,
Right.
even when it's hard to see, hard. So belief is something that we choose, and so no matter what circumstances look like, I have to decide every day, day in, day out, whether I believe that God's there. So
Yeah.
I do.
And I gotta say, you're a great lyricist.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I think the way that you put these together seems very like in the right order, if that makes sense. It seems
Okay.
placed in the right spots. They
Wow.
all kind of form together.
That's cool. I
Yeah, man.
appreciate it.
Well, you want to move on to Way to the World?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So in this one, you say, "A time will come when silence is betrayal. A time will come when your voices will not be heard. The years
Yeah.
that we've chosen to say nothing, they'll all return." Is this a song about something, you're preparing for or getting yourself ready for, or what's it about?
So that first line, "A time will come when silence is betrayal," is actually a quote from Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yep. So, "A time will come when silence is betrayal. A time will come when our voices will not be heard. The years that we've chosen to say nothing, they'll all return. The guilt, the shame, the pain, the anger." Yeah. I was just trying to play that back in my head. Um, yeah. So I honestly, that song was another one of those where I'm just like, I feel like picking up a rock and throwing it in the direction of something,
Yeah.
and rather than throwing it in the direction of non-believers, sometimes you just pick up a rock and you throw it at your own house. um, I believe in the church. I believe that the church is the hope of the world. um, as jacked up and as ugly and as hypocritical as it can be sometimes, Jesus said himself that the church is like, a city on a hill.
Okay.
It's like a lamp, it's a light. So that's what. But I believe that people need to be reminded that they can't stay silent about things that matter. They can't stay, and I'm not talking about, that song is not a political thing. That song is not any of that. They can't stay silent about the naked stranger, or the hungry orphan, or the lonely widow, or like the list goes on. We can't stay
Yeah,
silent, and we can't stay silent not just in our words but in our actions.
of
And
course.
so that very one of the very next signs that I say is so we break these chains of tradition, of religion. So to move us to action, so we break these chains.
Oh
So
yeah,
um that's kind of where that is like, wake up people, let's do something, you know. And I'm not the poster child for always doing something, but as a lyricist of a band, you try to provoke people to
of
think
course. Yeah.
and to come outside of their little comfortable bubbles, and the walls that they've created, and the mirrors and the facades they've put up everywhere, to just kind of like see themselves. No, we get rid of that so that we can see other people and what's going on in the world, so that we can change something, even if it means just changing the reality for one person in your life, one
Oh yeah.
day at a time. That's all you can ever do. That will change something. So that's all that song is about, is like moving Christians, moving people of faith, moving hardcore kids, moving anyone to say, I will wake up and answer the call to do something for someone today. That's it.
It's a great message.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
So,
man.
got one more segment for you.
I
Um,
love that last segment. That was super cool.
really? I
Yes.
appreciate it.
You
Awesome.
should be doing that
So,
all the time. Yeah.
I do. And I've
That's
got
that.
this I've got a new name for this one that I kind of just thought of a little bit ago.
Okay.
I like to call this one "How do you know that?" Because every time I ask these questions,
How do you know?
everyone wonders how I know the answer. Someone called me Nardwar the other day, which was just what I was looking for. Um, I've got exactly one. I've got two of them for you.
Okay.
So you just recently, back in Alabama, got a tattoo in front of a walk-up window at a cookout.
Yeah, I did.
Where was the tattoo at? Was it on your
So
hand
it's I can
or on your
show you
neck?
my wrist.
Okay.
That little cross there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're seeing it upside down, but I guess I can
Yeah.
get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played Advent played a show in um Birmingham. I
Yep.
can't remember the name of it, with
Furnace
Madball,
Fest.
Jesus Christ, Creeping Death, they called Wounded Touch.
Mhm.
We played seconds, or I think second in the lineup that night, and my buddy from Columbia, I think you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Little
The
P
homie.
came up,
Oh yeah.
uh, and he came up with he's apprenticing at the
Copper
tap.
Finch. Shout out Copper
Yeah,
Finch.
Copper Finch,
Oh yeah.
and he was like, dude, we're bringing the gear up. If you guys want to do a tattoo, let's do it. And so it gets to the end of the night, and we're like, what, where are we going to do this tattoo? And so we talked about Waffle House, but I don't think there was a Waffle House close enough or something. I don't know. Um,
Cookout.
and, and so Cookout was right down the street. So I was like, bro, let's get tattooed at the.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
Ian, who was in Ends of Sanity, he was filling in on bass for us because Johnny couldn't make the show.
Yeah.
Him and I got bro tats, and 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 so we got bro tats at the cookout in front of the walk up window, off of a hot dog tray. Like that's where the little ink caps were. So we kind of, in my mind, I set like a Guinness Book of World hardcore records, dude. Getting tattooed at a cookout. That's what's up. I don't know if anybody else has ever gotten tattooed at a cookout. Hit me up on my Instagram. Let me know.
Yeah.
Comment below, whatever.
Yeah, man. And I've got one more of these. So back in your beloved days,
Oh gosh.
You slept in a playroom with a wallpaper that had clouds and like the sky on it. Does that ring a bell for you?
Clouds in the sky.
There was
I
there were
so
two beds in there. There were two beds in there. You and the beloved homie slept in there.
yeah,
It was
I
at
think so. Where
it was at
give
my house.
oh snap. That was Advent.
Oh, that was
That was
Advent.
that
Okay.
was Advent. Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I definitely slept at your house. And I tell you what, man, when we got the invite to come stay at your house, I remember Johnny and I were like, dude, we're staying at Chris from Stretch's house. We're his friend now, dude. We're like friends again. This is crazy. So yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
That would have been our old house. So we moved
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we moved in this house about when I was in 7th grade. I'm a senior now. So that would have been 5 years ago we moved here.
Okay.
But and it's in the same neighborhood. So it's literally just a couple houses down.
Okay. But
So
that was so you were a little dude though when we stayed.
I didn't even know I was born.
So it would have been sometime in between 2009 and 11, but I
Okay.
think it would have been 11.
I was
I think
born
it
in
would have been closer.
2006.
Yeah, you were a little guy,
Oh
and
boy.
I think I don't know if we saw you that day. I remember Chris, your dad inviting us. We get there and stay, and then David came the next morning and was like, "What's up, guys?" You know, like,
Yeah.
and we're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm making music for video games now, man." We're like, "How do you
Oh
do
yeah.
that? Like, that's crazy, you know?" So,
Yeah.
um, but we left there. We left there thinking we were pretty cool because we're like, dude, we just stayed at one of the guys from, the singer Chris from Stretch
Where were
Armstrong's
you
house.
guys playing a show?
I guess we played in Columbia somewhere because
Yeah.
he came to the show.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, we just stayed, and I think maybe we just had like a couple nights of, oh, dude, I wonder if that's the night that we played at Derek's house in his garage
Oh jeez.
with Reign Supreme and Cancer Bats, and I don't know. I don't think Where It Ends played, but maybe Where It Ends might have played that night.
A house
But it
show?
was crazy, crazy show, bro.
Oh
Shout,
my gosh. Shout
shout out.
out the neighbors.
Yeah, I don't think they were super stoked on that. But what are they going
How could you be? Unless you're like a big fan.
to
Well, I appreciate you jumping on here with me so short notice. I appreciate you.
Dude, I'm so
You
sorry
woke up just in time.
that I slept through the first
No,
30 minutes.
dude, all good. Got one more final question for you. Big
Let's go.
heavy hitter. If you could tell me what your message to the world is.
My message to the world. Life is short. Life is short. Choose this day whom you will serve.
Yes, sir. I'd love to hear it. Well, Mr. Mustin, I really appreciate you hopping on here with me. Get this episode out very soon. Fourth and final member of the Senate show. That was my goal starting this podcast the entire time. I said I got to get all four,
That's
and
so
we sure did it. And I'm glad we did it.
thank you so much for
Of
having me on,
of
Owen.
course.
For real.
Any final words?
Dude, choose this day, man.
Oh yeah. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so
All right.
much.